Like a match made in heaven, the combination between Uranus and Gemini promises to be an electrifying one. When Uranus, the rebel, the innovator, meets Gemini, the curious communicator, it ignites a mental fire within us. These two energies are fast-moving, are restless, and crave change. And when they align, it's not just evolution, it's revolution. So expect in the next years that people will be craving for freedom, for novelty, for stimulation. The words of the day will be try, connect, learn, experiment, move. People will not want to go with the recommended. They will crave variety. They will crave options. Instead of going with the normal dish, they will be asking, what else is on the menu? Hello everyone, my name is Sidonia Madhu and I'm an intuitive astrologer. If you like this type of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more. I also give private consultations for those who would like to get more in depth. Now let's dive in to see how Uranus in Gemini is going to affect your life. As Uranus is the planet associated with sudden insight, enlightenment, and inspiration, and Gemini wants to learn, wants to know how everything works, you may during this time awaken your inner genius. Expect to have a big change in the way you think, in the way you perceive the world, and with this to have also a readjustment of your direction in life. People will likely be seeking for communities also that are more multicultural, that are intellectually diverse, as these environments provide much more opportunity to learn new things. There may be a flood of new technological advancements and huge innovative jumps in the next coming years that will propel us light years from now. So futuristic inventions that we may have only been able to see in movies now may become a reality. The way we live, the way we communicate, the way we learn, even what we consider real may shift dramatically. Gemini is the sign of the twins, and with this Uranian influence, the power of the two becomes magnetized. So expect to see a rise in partnerships, not just normal collaboration or romantic relationships, but true soul connections like kindred spirits or creative cosmic duos, based on common ideas, on energetic resonance. There's something magical about the power of two minds, one vision. So relationships like soulmates, twin flames, twin mirrors will become more and more essential to the evolution of who we are. Unfortunately, the Uranus in Gemini may come with its challenges, especially during oppositions and squares. Because Gemini is a dual sign and once again connected with the number 2 and the siblings, we may see here an intensification of the fear of the adversary, of the opposition, of the replacement, of the one who can take my place if I don't do something. So we may see a rise in competition and even a run for power grab, especially when it comes to knowledge and to technology. In this case, brother may turn against brother, sister against sister. People that are lookalikes or from the same groups may go into conflict with each other or even separate. This is motivated by fear because with this Uranus influence in Gemini, if it's squared or opposed, it will awaken this effect of projection, and we will be much strongly projecting our fears and our insecurities into others. On another level, Gemini is not just about duality or the other. It is also especially about ourselves. So we may observe here another very interesting psychological phenomenon, that is the split in consciousness or the conflict between two parts of yourself. So we can see here, instead of projection into the other, we can see here a conflict with the shadow personality or the shadow self. a part of you that you reject, that you do not accept, that you do not incorporate, and you shove it down inside of you so deeply that you forget it exists and it becomes an identity all on its own. So here we may see disorders like bipolarity, or we may see split personalities disorder, or even at a spiritual level, curious phenomena like possession, or being tormented by a malignant spirit. I'm not saying that real possessions don't happen, they do. However, many of the situations of possession that we see out there occur because there is a split in personality. The shadow self become a demon, become a malignant spirit, because it's the parts of you that you do not want to incorporate that come back to haunt you. A positive manifestation of this split personality disorder would be for you to manifest, for example, a spirit guide of benevolent kind, or a guardian angel that will be guiding you through life. And this also happens because of the same reasons. Maybe you do not have, for example, imagine there may be people that do not have the courage to go after certain things, and they get very paralyzed and stuck into their body. So they develop this split personality that will tell them what to do, because it's more easy for them to follow orders, follow guidance from the outside for somebody else than to follow their own will. So these people in this case many times have this split personality of this guide or this angel who will tell them what to do, and they really believe they're seeing an angel or guide, but it's just a part of themselves that they have created in their mind to help them through the process of taking initiative, of directing their own will. Since they cannot do it themselves, it becomes something else. Whether it is good or evil, Gemini reminds us that we are never just one thing, and Uranus wants us to wake up to both. Ultimately, Uranus in Gemini is an opportunity to awaken to more consciousness and more awareness of what it means to be human, how we are more alike than we think, and how we may all serve as mirrors for each other. With the rapid development of the digital world and technologies such as AI, we may experience here as well a mental burnout. With the growing need for stimulation of the mind and people being pulled more and more into virtual realities and virtual fantasies, we may grow more disconnected from reality, from each other, from nature, even from our bodies. And this may also lead to other emotional, psychological, and even health issues that may become a concern. So with so much mental input and this possibility of mental exhaustion, even mental illness, I believe that there may be, at a certain point, a renaissance of technology-free communities where you have to be completely offline and leave your cell phone at home, and you live off nature and off the land, especially in a way for people to escape and to recover from all the intense stimulation of the digital world. In a world that never stops talking, choosing to unplug may be the ultimate revolution. As Uranus will be 7 years in the sign of Gemini, predicting for exact events may be difficult. However, if we map the trajectory of other major players involved like Saturn and Jupiter, we may have an idea of where our attention will be when it comes to the themes of Gemini and Uranus. Saturn shows us where we face pressure, structure, and karmic lessons, and Jupiter expands everything it touches, amplifying trends, breakthroughs, and sometimes even challenges. So now let's follow the trajectory of these two major players to see how the placements of Uranus in Gemini will be manifesting through time according to these planetary positionings. Uranus enters Gemini just as Saturn moves into Aries, a sign known for action, leadership, and survival instincts. This combination sets a tone of urgency and intensity. Saturn in Aries may push us to act quickly, assert ourselves, and secure control, sometimes from a place of fear or competition. It's a transit that tests our courage, but also asks, are we acting from wisdom or reaction? While Saturn is in this sign, Jupiter, which is a much faster moving planet, will be crossing two signs, Cancer and Leo. Uranus enters Gemini just a month after Jupiter enters Cancer, and the soft emotional energy may feel like a protective shell around the volatile, fast-changing world. There could be major technological breakthroughs here, but they will likely be kept secret or reserved to a selected few. Jupiter in Cancer is cautious. It wants to protect what it loves. And with Saturn in Aries raising fears about threat and survival, we may see technology channeled into defense, security systems, and surveillance tools. On the shadow side, this can also highlight violence against women, threats to maternal health, or systemic gaps in protection, calling for rising collective awareness, legislation, and emotional healing. When Jupiter enters Leo, the stage lights come on, and what's been hidden may now be revealed, and with style. We may witness here brilliant inventions, breakthroughs, and bold acts of innovation bursting into the spotlight. This is a cosmic showmanship at its best. Think super geniuses, visionary leaders, and tech heroes stepping into the public eye. But Leo doesn't just share the light, it wants to own it. And paired with Saturn in Aries, this could create a culture of I know and you don't, where knowledge becomes power and power becomes performance. Still, there's beauty in this moment. Jupiter in Leo can inspire incredible acts of generosity, leadership, and creative genius. We may see people stepping up to guide, to give, to uplift. Social media, digital storytelling, and personal expression could explode with color, drama, and passion, as if the internet itself becomes a global stage for liberation. But be aware of the shadow side. This transit may also embolden tyrants, narcissists, and elitistic gatekeepers. As Saturn shifts into Taurus, this is where reality sets in, and our attention shifts towards our resources, stability, and the things we love and value. And we may start asking questions of what is practical, what is effective, and what is sustainable. So expect that there may be major changes and a need to reorganize, restructure our foundations, especially of our economical systems and the way we acquire and share our resources. While Saturn will be in Taurus, Jupiter will be crossing three signs: Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio. With Jupiter in Virgo, the spotlight turns towards healthcare, labor conditions, and daily life structures. This is a moment of functional innovation. The technology is designed to optimize cities, transport, workflow, and the human body. So expect breakthroughs in medicine, in biohacking, mental health support, and environmental design in general. Laws around workers' rights and public health care may begin to shift, especially in response to the growing pressure from economic inequality, a signature of Saturn in Taurus. Virgo doesn't just want progress, it wants things to work better. So this is a quiet but powerful chapter of refinement, justice, and healing through precision. When Jupiter moves into Libra, the universe starts asking harder questions about fairness, diplomacy, and balance of power. We may witness a wave of new partnerships, legal reforms, and international agreements. Courts, parliaments, and global institutions may step forward as key players in restoring peace and order. especially around technology regulation, digital rights, and access to resources. Libra energy brings a collective craving for equity and may also spark a renaissance in art, relationship dynamics, and ethical frameworks. Expect a push toward beauty with purpose and justice with style. Jupiter entering Scorpio opens the vault. Hidden truths, buried power structures, and deep psychological forces begin to rise into the surface. In opposition to Chiron in Taurus, this transit could bring collective wounds into the light. Wounds around abuse, secrecy, betrayal, and misuse of knowledge or control and power. This is a time of intense transformation when what's been repressed, concealed, or weaponized must be faced, questioned, and ultimately alchemized. On the other hand, something can also be discovered here that is very controversial, sparking numerous ethical concerns, and change completely how we view ourselves and the very fabric of existence. As Saturn enters Gemini, the winds tighten. Gemini being the sign connected with movement, with speech, with information, and Uranus, the planet connected with freedom, with innovation, now are being weighted down by the energy of Saturn. And Saturn entering here in Gemini, he will ask us, is this practical? Is this functional? Is this realistic? Are you acting with integrity? Is this supportive? Or will this need to be restructured, dismantled, cut out, or even replaced? No matter what, expect some restrictions here around technology, movement, and the use of information. This may be one of the most challenging chapters of Uranus' journey through Gemini, where freedom of speech, access to information, and even movement of people may face serious restrictions. With Uranus pushing for innovation and change and freedom, and Saturn imposing boundaries, controls, and rules, we may find ourselves at a cosmic standstill. During this peak period, Saturn and Uranus finally merge. The old and the new, the father and the rebel, the structure and the chaos, forced to coexist both in Gemini. To understand the symbiotic weight of this alignment, let us review the very mythology of the origin of Uranus. Uranus, or the sky god, gave birth to the Titans, together with Gaia, the earth. But fearing his children, he locked them away. It was Saturn or Cronus, his own son, who rose up and cut the sky away from the earth, liberating creation for an act of violent separation. This myth reflects a deep truth. Sometimes, the only way forward is to break free from what once gave us life, but now keeps us stuck. And in 2032, we may see a similar dynamic, with institutions, elites, or ideologies attempting to hide, control, or monopolize transformative knowledge. But Saturn's blade eventually cuts through. There may be conflict, there may be loss, but on the other side, a new order is born. As Saturn enters Sagittarius, it supercharges everything it touches. And in this sign that means belief systems, ideologies, education, religion, and collective vision. But here there's a twist. Jupiter will spend much of its time in opposition to Saturn and Uranus, two planets now conjunct in Gemini and actively restructuring thought, speech, and access to truth. The result? A potential ideological war. Fanatism, polarization, and blind loyalty may rise. A flood of new ideas, discoveries, and technologies also could emerge, but their very existence may threaten the established structures and rules in power.
So censorship, disinformation, cultural clashes, and legal interventions may be possible. It could play out as a revolution or repression, depending on which side of the truth you are. Some may see this as a moment of liberation, others will fear collapse. But no matter what, we will not be the same on the other side of this. As Jupiter moves in Capricorn, the focus shifts from ideas and ideologies into infrastructure, authority, and governance. This is where big visions get systemized, where new technologies, laws, and social structures start to crystallize into reality. Jupiter expands Capricorn's urge to organize and enforce order, which could lead to creation of new legal systems, global policies, and hierarchies designed to control knowledge, communication, and AI. But early in this transit, Jupiter will square Neptune in Aries. This means that there may be some confusion, some manipulation, and the risk of deception. False prophets, ideological smokescreens, or blurred moral lines may dominate the public discourse. So expect moments where we question, is this really progress or just better control? Towards the end of Uranus' day in Gemini, Jupiter will cross between Capricorn and Aquarius, echoing the tension between the order and freedom, hierarchy and equality. In Capricorn, power seeks to consolidate. In Aquarius, it yearns to disperse, innovate, and empower the collective. This back and forth could represent a push and pull between top-down control and bottom-up revolution, setting the stage for whatever comes after Uranus leaves Gemini.
Uranus in Gemini is not just about ideas and innovation. It's about the evolution of thought, and with it, the evolution of humanity. There may be disconnection, there may be division, there may be rebellion. However, we may also witness brilliance awakening and the birth of a new type of unity, one not based on the sameness, but based on common goals and shared curiosity. And it's in the mirror of the twin that we see not just our other half, but our potential. So may we all have the courage during this transit to wake up and become better than what we were before. This is my wishes for this forecast of the transit of Uranus in Gemini, my friends. I hope you take something from this forecast that is useful for your life. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share it with kindred souls that may need this message. And if you would like to have a more holistic, more comprehensive understanding of these transits and how they will play out with other planets, I will also share here my video regarding the entry of Neptune in Aries, and as well my video regarding the Jupiter entry in Cancer. Thank you so much, my friends. Take care of yourselves. Much love.